Welcome back to our channel. I want to start by saying Happy New Year's 2023 and thank you for liking and subscribing to our channel. Alrighty, and on our plans for 2023, we plan on working with these set of heads. And first we're gonna, as we said in the last video, we're gonna work on these 113s. And what we're gonna do to in the first step is
basically we're gonna pull all the old seats out of it. Okay, this is how I usually do it. Here's the superflow. I already have it set up. This is basically what it is. It's an old valve, and I trim it down so it actually fits in the pocket. Okay, so go there. Then I actually I put a swipe of bead of TIG weld on each side. Okay, same with the intake. That valve's in there just like that. Anyway, and then I tip the head over and I pound up very lightly, tap them. More than likely these seats aren't put in with a serious amount of press. We'll have to see. But anyway, I've been doing it that way for 30 years or more, and anyway, it doesn't hurt it. So a lot of people have other ways of doing it. This is the way I do it. So anyway, we're going to do that to these, and then to these heads. The next thing we're going to do with this intake flange is we're going to remove all the studs. Okay, and then I'm going to grind this the original OEM stud, the OEM dowel pin out. Well, it's already out, but I'm going to V it out a little bit because I'm going to fill that up with weld, and then we're gonna deck this whole surface.
all right, Jeff. Would you like to talk a little bit about your equipment that we're going to use today?
Sure. Yeah, this is a antique welder. But it's been going strong for as long as I've owned it. When I did buy it, it was kind of a new old stock machine, and I only paid $500 for it. It's a Sure Weld, which is actually, it's a Miller, and it's a 300 amp machine, and I've welded a lot of aluminum heads with this. Probably, I guess I could say in the thousands. Anyway, so it's been good. You know, it's a TIG welder, and it's a stick welder too. You can weld bridges with it. So normally I have it on this amperage right here, 230, 250. I have turned it up to here, but not too often because my service will only allow 60 amp at my breaker. So I gotta watch it, you know, it'll blow the breaker. But anyway, I usually have it here for welding steel at that amperage, and cranked all the way over there. And anyway, so we're on straight polarity right now, so we're on steel, and high frequency start. So now we're ready to weld this steel. Basically, we're going to pull the seats out of these superflows and the 113 type 1 heads. So here we go.
Alrighty.
And also, this is straight argon. So that's I used to use a combination with aluminum years ago, but I felt that it's not needed in some of the stuff, most of the stuff that I weld. So straight argon, and I usually have my post flow at 10. And anyway, so yeah, that'll do it.
All right. Okay, let me get over there.
So we're basically, I guess we're gonna start on the 113s. Gonna yank the seats out of these things. We've got to be done. So let's get her done.
we go. All right.
Okay, basically what I'm doing here is see the valve that's loose, the makeshift valve. Basically it's a tool now, so you weld that bead onto it and it's holding back, so which in turn is I'm going to weld another bead up here, and then it'll be good enough to grab the hammer on the other side and slam it out. Here.
Okay.
I'll do this. Flip it over that way and do the opposite side. So basically, see, valves are still loose. I didn't weld the the valve to the seat. Sometimes that happens, you know, if I don't properly grind the old valve and get it below the seat, it'll attach itself, you know, if you're not careful. So usually what happens to the really old stock seats, these seats, you're talking, they're over 50 years old, and here I am pulling them out. So what will happen is sometimes the seat will basically break apart and the old seat will still stay in there. Then I have to reset it, reset the valve inside the broken seat, and then re-weld a couple more tabs on it and then pop them out. We'll see what happens right now. Very lightly, don't go crazy on it, because see how the valves are moving down a little bit more. It's coming. The valves are coming. So the heat's working into the head, and yep, got them. There's your seats right there.
50-year-old seats. Wow.
Yeah. They're saying, thank you for getting me out of this old head. Put some brand new big valve seats in it. Let's make some horsepower.
Making room for some horsepower.
Do it all over again.
Okay.
notice this rod, it's not the cleanest in the world, but it doesn't care, you know. It's corroded, literally corroded. I've actually taken the time to clean all that off of there, but it actually likes the corrosion on it. It doesn't make any difference.
Wow.
You know, usually, you know, you want clean rod, clean it, and you prep it properly, but this just doesn't give a darn, you know. So anyway, I've done it both ways, and it doesn't weld any better with the clean rod. So
Wow.
okay, here we go.
Okay.
Now the head's up to a, you know, nice temperature. Basically, it's like almost running the engine and bringing the head temp up naturally this way, because you're not, you know. So I wouldn't weld on the head the aluminum part of it dead cold. I don't do that, you know. Only in manifolds. Manifolds I do. I weld those cold, you know. They don't crack. I've welded thousands of them, and not one of them has ever cracked. Cylinder head, you don't do that.
Okay.
Too many sharp edges in them, too many, you know, so always put them in the oven, you know. I'll put that up. Now these seats will probably come out a lot easier than the first time, only because the head is up, sort of up to temperature. You know, do the same thing, not heavy, but yet, you know, just start tapping and start working it. Oh, okay, here's a good example. See that seat, how it broke apart right there?
Yes.
See, it's split. So, okay. It's got to come out and see the gap in between the seat floor and the seat?
Yes.
That's what happens, you know, sometimes. So I'm glad it sort of broke off. At least it shows you, you know, now what I have to do. So, anyway, so what I'll do is I'll do this to it. It's not hurting it.
And then just put a bigger weld on it.
Yeah, a little more. And then
A little more penetration.
you can do this at home if you had a MIG welder or a TIG welder. You know, it doesn't matter. I'm just showing you how I've been doing it for a lot of years. And there's other people that do them different ways. You know, they cut them out. At least when you weld them out, everything is original still, except for a little, you know, black soot, you know. And anyway, the weld does get a little bit up on the aluminum, not much. So, bam, all out.
Nice.
Be careful, this thing's super hot.
All right.
And that's your type 1. Now, gotta move on to the superflow.
And ready.
Anyway, we're going to pull the seats out of these superflows, the race heads. If you notice, these seats have been, in some, they've been Siamese together. So, who knows what kind of press fit they put on here. They could be really loose, they could be super tight. I normally, anywhere from 8 to 10 thousandths press, that's where I like them to be, you know. but I didn't do this, so I don't know. We'll see. Once I do the welding and pop the seats, I'll know exactly if they had, you know, maybe 4 thousandths press, you know, maybe 10, you know, maybe 12, you know, you never know. So that's why I like to put my own seats in my own heads, because then I know exactly that they're not going to fall out. Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, here we go.
All right.
Here, about this much weld. We'll see. It may need more, but I'll leave it at that. Go to the other side, weld the 2 tabs, and then we'll tap them out.
All right.
I think they're going to come out. Yeah, these seats were very thin on the top. Hard to get a bead on them. So they're pretty old. So I think they may actually. Yep. Now, if you notice, see the seat is actually sitting above the chamber floor. Okay, so just that little tap right there that I did. Okay, it's starting to fall out already.
Wow.
Okay, so that was, and you can see the gap in between the actual seat floor and the seat. There's a gap in between there now. I didn't even touch it with a hammer. Okay, so see, the seat's moving.
Wow.
Okay, so that seat probably had maybe 3 thousandths press on it. You know.
Yeah.
4 max. Yeah. So anyway, just show you, watch. Bang, bang. Out. Big valve seats out. Done. So didn't take much. So makes my job easier. But when I put the new ones in, they're gonna be in good. I mean, yeah. Here we go. We'll do this.
All right.
Here we go. Not much. Very light tap. Done. See the gap in between them? They were, you know, basically they were Siamese together. Minimal, not heavy. So when I Siamese, I usually like to install the exhaust seats first. Then I'll cut into the exhaust, installing the intakes. So. Every once in a while, in certain instances though, I've had to Siamese to the intake instead of the exhaust. But the normal procedure is to install the exhaust seats first, a thick seat, then cut into the exhaust, and then install your intake. So now, the next thing that we'll be doing to these heads is basically, of course, get the rest of the seats out. Then I'll be grinding out, if you can see that, that's a crack in between the seat and the plug hole. I'm going to grind that crack completely out until it's eliminated. Grind all the threads out of the old 14mm spark plugs and prep them for weld, and then drill and tap for 12mm peanut plugs.
Okay.
The motorcycle plugs. So anyway, and then go on to this damage, the ports where they've got holes in them. Then once that's all repaired, then I will go in and basically I'm going to weld up all the seat pockets, each one of them. You know, and put brand new shelves on them with 40-43 rod. Weld them up solid. Recut all the seat pockets. Put brand new hardened seats. Really badass, nice, like a nickel chromium type seat. What I'm going to put in the LS heads, the same style, same material. So with at least 8 thousandths press, maybe up to 10. So and they won't come out. So, these didn't fall out, but yet it's lucky that they didn't. So anyway,
It was about time for them to come out.
yep.
Alright, on to the next one. Welcome back to our channel. I want to start by saying Happy New Year's 2023, and thank you for liking and subscribing to our channel. Alright, and on a side note, while we are not working on air-cooled heads, we work on water-cooled as well. And today I'm going to weld
A small block AFR V8 head.
a small block AFR V8 head. Repair, weld and repair. All right, and what repair are we gonna do today?
Okay, basically, this was welded by somebody else. They brought it in, and I actually welded it, thinking that the weld that they put there was good. But in fact, when I welded it and we went and tried to resurface it, there was an air pocket there, so I had to grind it back down. And now hopefully this is the last time. Anyway, so you can see where, you know, it was torched right there, and then basically I'm going to fill it back up to the original deck right there. It's hot right now, so okay. On these style heads, I always put the ground wire on the head. I don't rely on the bench to actually ground it, so it's better that way. So, goes over here.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Anyway, yeah.
Oh. Okay, Jack, let me get back over here. All right, now.
Anyway, I usually leave more than enough excess there to bring it down and then see if there's any air pockets or anything. It's better to give a little bit extra because if you don't put enough material there, you may have to go back and weld it again, to get that the right height. But anyway, that's hopefully that's the last time it needs to be touched. So anyway, this is basically, these are, as maybe some of you know, this is the Chevy LS. It's the 5.3, and these are the 706 castings. Anyway, these are going to get turbo prepped. I'm going to pull all the old seats out. Reason being is that these heads were sort of underwater for a little while, and they got a lot of pits in them. And I'm going to put a better quality seat in it, like a nickel chromium, a little bit thicker, and a little more press fit, because GM didn't originally. They don't have a whole lot of press on them. So these are sort of famous for dropping seats if the heads are heated up, if the engine overheated. So anyway, I'm going to try to eliminate that. Basically put the new seats in, new guides. It's going to have all new valves, probably stainless or like a but anyway, the valves basically like a Manley brand, and then a Super Duty type intake, and then like an Inconel exhaust valve, for the heat. So also I'm gonna have to do anyway, you know that this is the cathedral port. I am going to go in and massage the porch a little bit. Don't go crazy, but yeah, work the guide boss area a little bit, and also too, you can see where this chamber, it had a little water damage in there, so I'm gonna touch that up, and I'm gonna weld that area, and then I'm gonna reface them. So anyway, again, this is the 706 casting. It's a truck casting, and see if I can make about 1,000 horsepower, maybe a little bit more. So it's a genuine GM head. So
alrighty. Thank you for watching and subscribing to our channel.